Whoa! Me being almost topical? What is this? Summer break?
Sometimes the world looks perfect.
I think we can all agree that E3 this year was a little bit less hype than last year, but that doesn't mean there wasn't anything worth talking about. So I want to spend the next 20 minutes going over how I felt about stuff. So first off, Shadows Die Twice finally got a full name, Sekiro, I think is it. In between that and the Hyper Mech Wolf or whatever, I just gotta say, FromSoft finally remembered what fun is, which is a nice change of pace from everything. In all seriousness, I actually really enjoyed Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne looked good. I can't say I like their slower games, so this fast-paced, kind of more technical action game where the combat actually looks like it'll be worth the crap and not just like a bunch of waiting and stuff, really seems interesting, because FromSoft does a lot right. But some of the stuff I thought was wrong was kind of the mobility options and the speed of their games, and seeing them dive deeper and deeper into that idea of kind of fast-paced action actually really excites me. I am super duper duper interested to see what ends up becoming of that. Next up was Death Stranding. I almost completely don't care. I hated the first half of the trailer where it's just walking. That looked excruciatingly dull. And if there's too much of that in the game, I will not play it. But that being said, most Kojima trailers just show boring. They show not boring. They show a first part of the game that's nothing like the rest of it, and they just show the tutorial section in this trailer. So I actually doubt that it's representative of what most of the game will be like. So the story finally picked up a little bit. The intriguing bit of the story and world picked up a little bit in the second half, which was nice. My problem is Kojima hasn't made a game I've liked in 10 years. So I have a little bit of trouble putting my faith in him. Maybe that was Konami, and once he's off the leash, he'll do great. But I tend to think he's more of a George Lucas type, where he has phenomenal ideas, but he needs someone to rein him in. Otherwise, you get the Star Wars prequels, or in this case, you get the Metal Gear prequels. All of them but 3. 3 was good. So I can't get hype about this, because The Phantom Pain was one of the most hyped I've ever been about a games, and it was one of the most disappointing games I have ever laid eyes on. So, still keeping an eye on it. I can't say I'm super hyped, but I'm moderately intrigued. If like 5 out of 10 is ambivalent towards the game, I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I don't care. I'm at a 6 with Death Stranding. Like, I'm moderately intrigued. I couldn't care a flying flip about who the actors are. I only know Norman Reedus because everyone keeps shouting his name. I think they revealed another actress because they turned around and held on her face for like 60 seconds. So I assume I'm supposed to know who she is and go, "That's the girl from the thing!" But I have no idea who she is. So I was like, okay, it's a blonde chick. Was she from blonde? I don't even know. Well. The next thing I want to talk about is, The Last of Us 2. I'm just laughing because I'm like, are we supposed to pretend that in the Western world, United States, in 2018, that it's brave that there is a gay character? But I kept hearing people talk, that's so brave, and I'm like, really? During Gay Pride Month in the United States, and I'm supposed to pretend that this is some brave move? That's freaking hilarious. But I guess it's good press, so good for them. I don't care, because I don't care who cyber imaginary people like to sleep with, and I really don't care in games that I don't like in the first place. So I think it was the biggest PR stunt, and it seems like if I was gay, I'd be really annoyed that my sexuality, which I guess is a part of my identity in this version of me, was just being used for marketing. But apparently that's what sells, it's so brave. So that was probably the dumbest thing at E3. Not that I don't even see the trailer, but just the fact that everyone's like, so brave. And then Doom Eternal got a trailer. And then Devolver Digital did their press conference. So apparently Microsoft bought up a lot of companies, and the only one that really stood out to me was actually a Ninja Theory. And my only thought was, thank God they can never ruin another Nintendo franchise ever again. That's all I care. I don't care. I can't think of a single franchise Microsoft owns that I care about. And so let them ruin that. Just good. Get them off the plate. Just buy them and never let them do anything. I can't get over how that's a good thing, but for all the wrong reasons. And they're like, look, we got Ninja Theory. I'm like, thank goodness the publishers I care the absolute least about bought this company that I hate. So, like, I can just stick all the stuff. Now I never have to worry about Ninja Theory again, and I never have to worry about liking, Ninja Theory ruining Microsoft, because I already don't care about anything Microsoft's doing game-wise. That is fantastic news. Bravo. Then Frodo came out and advertised a game called Transference, and it looks like all the genre things I hate, but the live action section kind of made me curious, interested a little bit. I don't know. I probably won't get it, but I might look into it when there's some more stuff. It looked like it looked like a terrible FPS horror game where you hide and can't do anything. But I don't know. I might come look at it. I'm less interested in the Death Stranding, but it stuck in my mind a little bit. It was interesting. Probably the highlight of E3 this year, which goes to show you how little hype there was the 5 seconds of Fire Emblem, I think the Three Houses is what it's called. Because I love Fire Emblem, in case any of you were wondering. I think that is fantastic. That there's just a new Fire Emblem, new console Fire Emblem. We haven't had one since Radiant Dawn. That was the sequel on the Wii, and I loved those games, and I'm so excited for another console Fire Emblem. And it looked good, and the character designs were a little blander than I expected, but that's actually, maybe not even blander, muted. They looked more realistic, which I thought was interesting. I was frustrated to see that the cutscenes are doing that weird, like, 15 FPS thing they've been doing for a while now. Like, they used to have really smooth cutscenes, and then they just chose this art style that's super choppy, and I don't know why, because it wasn't that way in earlier ones, and it's clearly the Switch can handle it. It's not like, I thought maybe the 3DS, like, they were trying to get more out of it than they could, but no, it's just an artistic choice, and I think it's a really terrible one. But other than that, everything looked great. Being able to walk around, as dumb as that sounds, the fact that walking around a Fire Emblem game was one of the high points in E3 kind of shows how muted this E3 was. Xenoblade got an expansion pass, or is getting one. I already knew about that. I loved Xenoblade 2. You'll get to hear more about that at some point, I'm sure. Xenoblade 2 was just shockingly good. Been a lot of DLC I did not give a flying flip about. This DLC almost looks like an expansion pass. There seems to be so much to it, and so I'll probably look into it. If it's as expansive as they're making it look, it's, several hours of gameplay, probably like 10 or so, odds are I'll end up picking it up, just because I love Xenoblade, and more Xenoblade, well, Xenoblade 2, I haven't played Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2 is pretty great, so, more Xenoblade 2, I can't go wrong with there. Mario Party, my gosh, I simultaneously hate and love this, because it cracks me up, because this looks like the best Mario Party in so long, and they're like really hyping it up, like, yeah baby, Mario Party's back, and what cracks me up is the selling point is we just made it unterrible. Like, they're like, we just went back to when Mario Party was actually decent like a decade ago. This seems to be the theme between this cracks me up, because Mario Party, the selling point was like, hey, we just added some things that we took out, aren't we great? And Smash Brothers Ultimate was also the main selling point seemed to be we just went back and added some things that we took out. So it cracks me up that that's the main selling point. Is like, remember when games had these features and then we took them out? Well, we added them back in. I am kind of kidding, and I'm overreacting, because, all in all, Smash U was pretty much what I expected from it. I've been talking about this a while. A nice looking enhanced port with a few features, which is what we all expected, I think. No one really expected a new game.
Actually, it's not a port. Nintendo confirmed it.
I mean, I guess if you want to get technical, it's not, but it functions identically to one. Look, if Sega said that Sonic Mania was a toaster, would you all believe that? Oh, right. Still, this game is so similar to 4 that it's a port in all but name. Stop! We need to have a talk about the Smash community. So, to clear up my thoughts on Smash 4, see, it's so similar! Smash U, Smash Ultimate. It's a port. I don't care if you want to say it's not, that's fine if that makes you feel better. It functions nearly identically. As far as the casual audience is concerned, this is just Smash 4 with a couple bells and whistles, which is fine. Smash 4 had a great base, and I'm actually really excited. If they can finally get the single-player content right, this will be the best Smash Brothers, just hands down, because Smash 4 got the fighting so good that just tweaking it a little bit for the competitive fans and then adding some single-player content that isn't awful will make it just like, this is why play any other Smashes. This is it, as far as a casual audience is concerned. That being said, when I voiced these opinions, I was talking with another friend of mine, Daffrey, and we were talking about the fact that it's effectively a port, and he was mentioning that, and I was like, yeah. He showed me an article that said Nintendo confirms it's not a port and is a brand new game, and I jokingly said Nintendo confirms it doesn't know what a brand new game is, because again, anyone looking at Smash U can see that it's super heavily based on 4. There is more similar to 4 than different, which I think is fine. 4 was so good, why, if it ain't fixed, why broke it? If it ain't broke, why fix it? I think this is super reasonable. And I think this is a good business model, but people are so upset about the idea that I would consider this basically a port, which is what I said. And they're like, well, because the code's different, it's not a port, and just all this stupid stuff. And it really made me, it was the first time I saw how absolutely toxic the Smash community can be. Not all of it. There was actually one cool guy who I was even gonna get a little bit defensive because I had 15 people jump on me because I said it was basically a port. Is Smash 4 different enough subjectively that is worth spending hours of your life dogpiling on me? I stopped responding, and 8 hours later they were still responding to each other about how wrong I was and posting Shrek memes. It was amazing. I was convinced I was dealing with a group of 12-year-olds, but according to their profiles, they're not that much younger than me, which is just baffling. My favorite comment, my favorite ironic comment, there are actually some nice ones again from one guy I wish I knew his name, but he was really kind. But my favorite ironic comment was, one dude said I was the flat earthers. They said, the flat earthers of the Smash community, which is just amazing. Just the pure vitriol reminded me why I hate fighting games. And it's sad because it's not that fighting games are that bad, but the people they tend to attract really make me question why I play video games sometimes. Because, when I think of Smash, usually I think of just fun times with my family and just hanging out, and it's like a party game, right? But with this whole focus, the shift that started with 4 to competitive, focusing towards competitive people, it really has made me reevaluate how much time I want to spend on these games, because playing online with people and they get real salty if you happen to win. I'm not good, but if you happen to win, get a lucky shot, they just rage quit, and you make a joke online, 15 people dogpile you because you have the incorrect opinion, and they wouldn't even. I was like, okay, I don't care if it's technically a port or not, it functions identically to 1. There is as much different between this as a major patch to Overwatch. It might as well be the same game as far as I'm concerned. They're like, you have the wrong opinion! So, I just found that interesting. I guess what my takeaway from this is, if you're a part of this community, there's one guy who was really good to me. I was even a bit defensive because, again, 50 people were dogpiling me. And he said, what? And I was kind of aggressive back. I was like, did I stutter? Because it was just, these people were being vitriolic, childish, and really, I don't like the word toxic, people overuse it, but that's the closest I can think is this toxic behavior, to the sense that I considered just muting anyone with Smash in the title, just because everyone who was a professional or semi-professional or thinks they're professional Smash player like was just so toxic and was so aggressive because I had the wrong opinion. Never have I seen so much toxicity in my life, so much just aggressive, pure hatred for someone with a differing viewpoint, which I found fascinating and frightening because it was over a game. A family-friendly Nintendo crossover of all things. This is the hill you're gonna die on. I mean, I don't know. I guess in the sense, I think it's pathetic personally, but I also think that the fact that maybe, you know, I'm making a video about it, maybe that makes it pathetic too, but I couldn't bring up E3 and Smash U without that experience, because that's, I will, until it comes out, I guess I will forever associate Smash U with just like the entire community like ripping me up and down for saying it looks fun. The last one was fun. This one looks fun too. They look like basically the same game. I liked the last one. I bet I like this one. And they're like, you will die for that. This is the Spanish Inquisition, and your heresy ends here. So I just felt like tagging that onto the Smash discussion here because it's a big game. I am moderately excited for it. Last one was good. I didn't like the competitive scene. I didn't like the For Glory stuff because it was always laggy. Cautiously optimistic. There's not a lot added to it. It looks like in terms of fighters and stuff, it's just all the old characters people didn't really like until they got dropped off. They brought back. That's great. Snake's back. That's cool. You know. But I'm looking forward to it overall. That's the final verdict. But if the only people I'm gonna be able to play with are these like super toxic, like really kind of just these people that make me not like the activity. You know, maybe I'll just stick offline. Like, what's the point of playing a game if just people are gonna just be awful about it? So, we'll see. We'll see. This whole experience with the Smash community kind of put me in a downer mood. It just started to make me feel like E3 was a giant waste of time. I mean, what's the point? It's just a list of disappointments and obvious reveals. And so much interaction with just toxic fanboys and... You finally returned. Yes! 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 I've been waiting for 10 years! And finally, I actually want to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. It looked good, which is a nice change of pace, to be honest. It seems like they're really taking fan feedback into consideration and trying to make this the best Kingdom Hearts ever. There have been so many spin-offs that were really fun and kind of experimental, but it's amazing to see them really try and go all out and go, like, you know, we're putting it all on the table. I know they're not planning on ending the Kingdom Hearts series for real after 3, but this does feel like a sort of culmination. Like, we want this to be the best one ever. The combat looks better than ever. The worlds look great. The animation looks gorgeous. Some of the Twilight Town characters looked a little weirdly Uncanny Valley to me, but pretty much everything else looked perfect in my opinion. The plot is still filled with melodrama, and I'm just kind of excited to see all this. You know, it's just nice to have something to be optimistic between all the other crap that I just don't care about and just is weighing me down, and then just all the miasma of games. It's nice to see Devil May Cry 5 and Kingdom Hearts 3 still kind of holding that torch of, you know, and a couple other things, like the Fire Emblem look good too, but just things like that make me go, that's why I play games. You know, that's why I even follow these dumb conferences that are so much full of crap, is because I get to, as much as there's that terrible, oh my gosh, getting dogpiled by just people who just make life miserable for you, there's also that moment where I can feel like I'm a part of a community that's just super pumped to see Devil May Cry 5 again and watch Kingdom Hearts 3 finally be released after all these years. And that's pretty cool. So, all in all, yeah, E3 was a little bit less than we all hoped. Not any less than I expected, but it was a little disappointing in one sense. But in another, it's still nice to know that even on an off year, there's a lot to celebrate. So, You guys tell me what you're looking forward to in the comments, and catch you in the next video.